Hello you, it's me. Are you a huge Stephen King fan? Are you looking to fill your year with reading huge amounts of his work? Have you always been curious about Stephen King? Are you looking for a place to jump in, but you've always been so intimidated because he's just written so much stuff and you're not sure where to begin? Do you think his books might be too scary for you and maybe you were unaware this whole time that he wrote an epic non-horror fantasy series that ties together and unites all of his outside work? Then what better place to begin with the King than his magnum opus series, The Dark Tower, based on an amazing poem by Robert Browning, inspired by a poem by Robert Browning called The Child Roland to the Dark Tower Came. It's a fantastic poem, I'll link it in the description, definitely read the whole thing, it's worth your time. The Dark Tower follows Roland Deschain, who is the last living gunslinger. These were an order of knights from his Wild West-esque world, founded by his world's analogue equivalent of King Arthur. His world was once rich with magic, which now only exists as relics and myths. His world's golden age has been and gone. It's burned out. It's coming apart at the seams. War has ravaged the land. Time no longer flows normally. Whole pieces of his world just vanish inexplicably. It is dying, a slow, quiet death. And we join him on his quest to find the Dark Tower, a legendary structure said to be the nexus, the hub around which every universe spins. While pretty much everything he has written relates in some way to the Dark Tower series, my co-hosts and I have put together a reading order which we think includes some of the more important ones and that we can smash through in a year. The people who will be leading you with me on this journey are Steph from Coffee Over Apples, Casey from Books Before Death, and Mazza from Mazza Booktuber. Steph has put together a couple of amazing graphics of the reading order we're going to be doing, which I will post in the Discord as well. And this is it. January, we're going to dive straight in and read the first two books of the series, The Gunslinger and The Drawing of the Three. This sounds like a lot, but both of these are very short. This is going to be a double whammy, but not too taxing an introduction to the series. Book 1 is often considered the weakest in the series, so pairing it with Book 2, which is a lot of people's favourite, me included, seems like a great idea. Book 2 is where you really get this fantastic introduction to the cast that we're going to be following for the whole year. February, we're going to be reading the first two Gwendy books, Gwendy's Button Box and Gwendy's Magic Feather. Again, 2 books sounds like a lot. These are both tiny, they're like 150 pages each. Initially, we weren't going to include these, but as we were sort of planning this read-along and putting it together, Gwendy Book 3 was announced, and just from the cover, you can see that it is going to be hard Dark Tower relevant. So we needed to put that in somewhere. And to understand Book 3, gotta read Book 1 and 2, obviously. March, we'll be reading Rose Madder, a standalone novel not part of the main series, but Dark Tower relevant. April will be Book 3, The Wastelands. Slightly bigger than Books 1 and 2, not an outright beast. May, Insomnia. A fantastic book, probably the most horror-oriented of the year's lineup. This one isn't part of the main series, but it does give you information and context for some things that appear later in Dark Tower. So in the pot it goes. June, Wizard and Glass, main series book 4. The first chonky boy of the readathon. This book is large and a real Marmite one. Some people tend not to like it, some people adore it. Personally, I think it's incredible. It feels a lot more classic fantasy than the rest of his stuff. Really excited to get through this with you all and hear what you think about it. July, we'll be reading The Wind Through the Keyhole. This is set between books 4 and 5 of the main series, but was actually written quite a long time after he finished the final book. But we are putting it where it goes chronologically. August, Salem's Lot, one of the best vampire novels ever written, one of King's best standalones, and probably the most relevant and important side novel we'll be reading this year. Been a long time since I read that one, can't wait to get to it again. September, Wolves of the Calla, main series book 5. This book is also pretty large, but it is action-packed, fast-paced, and such a wild mishmash of genres that it's going to absolutely blow you away, and I guarantee you'll love it. October, we're going to be capping off the Gwendy trilogy with Gwendy's Final Task, but we'll also be reading the only short story of the year that I think personally is a really important Dark Tower short story, and it's called Low Men in Yellow Coats. November, the penultimate novel in the series, Song of Susanna. Much shorter than the 2 that came before it. This one is less than 300 pages, which is great because this year I feel like everybody's had such a busy November. So hopefully next year, this is perfect placement for a short book. And December, The Dark Tower, Book 7. Last book in the main series and the end of our journey. And while this wraps up The Dark Tower, I'm really hoping that some of you stick around on the Discord. We can read and discuss more Stephen King together the next year, going through all his novels, finding the sneaky little Dark Tower tie-ins. So I've set this Discord up. We've got channels for every book that we're going to be reading, which will be broken down into a sort of 5 chapters segments, so we can discuss the books as we're going through them, reading at a similar pace to other people. Or just pop in after and say what you got to say, see what everybody else had to say. I had a really great time this year reading through Brandon Sanderson's stuff on the Cosmic Readalong Discord the same way. I think it's such a great format, and I really have to give credit to that one, which I'm kind of stealing to Casey Ambry from Books Before Death. So I really hope you join us on this year-long adventure. It's going to be very cool. I'll link the Discord below. We're not starting until January, but feel free to hop on now, introduce yourself, get to know everybody. Make sure you subscribe to all the other co-hosts' YouTube channels, which I'll link down below. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and Goodreads. I'll link those down below as well. And if you like sci-fi, you can join our Interstellar Book Club's sci-fi Discord too. I hope the rest of your 2021 is fantastic. If you celebrate it, I hope you have a good Christmas. And either way, I hope you have a lovely new year. Bye!